Arm Wrestling Showcase number 20. We all know our host, Kane Fontecchio with Alpha Empire Arm Wrestling, and myself, Josh Edwards with Nowhere to Run. We haven't been on for a while, so we decided to come on and talk to everyone about the current events and exciting things that have happened over these last few weeks in arm wrestling and our personal lives, as well as new exciting things that are coming up. How you doing today, Kane?
Really good, man. I'm excited to be back on. I feel like that kid that gets back from camp and wants to tell everybody all about it, but they just keep saying and then.
Yeah.
Well, been
right.
On,
you have some amazing news. Obviously, your close friends and everyone that follows you knows. But yeah, huge congratulations to you and Malia on your new bundle of joy, your little baby Odette, man.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll bring her over in a minute. Benji Mack is telling us that we are both sideways. So let me try something. No, that flips it the other way. So does that mean I have to do this and you have to do this? How about now, Benji?
Are we good, Benji? Uh-oh. It's this new technology.
Yeah. So that we need to kind of recap on what's been going on too. Yeah, let us know, Ben, if we're hooked up right now. All right, he says we're good.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so can you hear me too? Because I feel like I'm covering up my mic by doing it this way.
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, part of it has been my baby Odette that's put us on a little bit of a break, but also technology, which has been part of the reason that we've been doing our pre-recorded thing. So yeah, I've been Josh, I've been without a computer. The computer that I was using, we are without. We were using my wife's work computer to go live since pretty much we started doing this, but she's on maternity leave, had to give that back. And don't let your corporate office watch this show. But yeah, so my computer had a meltdown like 2-3 years ago, my Mac. And this Wednesday, I'm excited. We are going to have a new computer to work on. It's going to be a really good Mac with that M2 drive on it. So yeah, I guess without a computer, you can't do the Zoom with the full chat meetings and everything like that. The only thing you can do is pretty much what we're doing now if you want to live stream, which is just invite one person. So today it's just going to be you and I catching up on things, talking about things to come, things that have been going on. And I'm real happy that I'm going to have this Mac because I can get my video editing and audio editing programs all hooked back up on it. Like really good professional stuff like Premiere Pro. For audio, I might go back to Pro Tools, maybe Logic. But yeah, any pre-recorded stuff that we might want to put out, we'll soup that stuff up. And you already know I do some of for some of the videos like original audio stuff, that Elijah and Kaleo video that we recently put out about safe arm wrestling. Yeah, that one's got an original song on it. And I want to do more of that with you, Josh. I don't know how we're going to do that, but if we could bounce tracks back and forth to each other somehow, we could put stuff together to put some original music to a lot of the work that we do for the arm wrestling community.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I really like, speaking of that, I really like the ditties that you put together, or that you put together with those videos, because it gives it that kind of that feel. You remember what you used for the showcase, the Arm Wrestling Showcase, when we were doing the little sketch thing?
Oh, yeah.
Right. It literally, it kind of is in that same realm to me. It's fun, right? But it's also it's cool, it's thoughtful, and it's up and down. So yeah, I think it's really well. I think you do an amazing job with that stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, and once we have the ability to write and record together, I think it's going to be that much better because we can actually come up with material specifically for what video content we're doing. Those I just happen to have in the bank. Everything I've put up so far, just old little like ditties and stuff like that for licensing or whatever it was for. But it'll be kind of fun to like have a really cool video of something we do, like maybe another kids super match or something like that, and then really get down to it and figure something out with all the instruments that really heightens the energy of it.
Yeah, when I watched your oh man, I'm gonna mess it up. Mountain Time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, me and
Yeah.
the guy that I work with. Yeah.
Right. Well, I watched you guys playing, and I instantly started to think about, like, you remember Crossroads and the Steve Vai part where they were doing the battle?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, an arm wrestling match with contrasting guitars going back and forth, whether one guy is winning, it's like the bluesy or jazzy or metal, right? And it's like back and forth with the match. Like, if we could find, obviously good match material to do that with, but yeah, I don't know why, but when I watched your Mountain Time thing, I was just like, oh, like it felt like that old Crossroads style picking, like some of the stuff. I mean, you were doing different stuff, but yeah, it was made me think of that. I think that'd be really cool. We do something like that one day.
Yeah, like two distinct styles or even instruments. Yeah, like Johnny, he's really good on the ukulele. I could definitely picture that little cutting heads action happening to a match. That would be super bitching. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
Do you want to meet Odette here?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure everybody does. Everybody's been waiting.
All right, Malia's coming over with baby Odette. She doesn't cry when she's with Daddy. Oh.
That's what's up.
Oh, she might cry a little bit. Hi, baby. Hi.
Hi.
You want to show everyone how strong you are? Huh? There's your eyes. I can see your eyes.
Oh man, she's adorable. You guys did amazing.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
She's so strong. Like, oh, right now, like she's gripping like my finger so hard. Yeah.
Their grip is insane. The grip is insane when they're that age. The doctor explained it to me like something like it's kind of like the baby spider. Like they have no idea how much venom they're using. Same thing. Like they have no idea how much they're using, so they use like everything.
Yeah.
You can put a newborn like on a pull-up bar, and once they lock their hands there, they'll literally hold themselves for a minute and a half. Like as long as you let them stay there. You obviously brace your hands to make sure, but they can hold forever. They can just hold themselves up. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah, when I try and wrap her tight in a swaddle, like she'll just bust right out of that thing. She'll just like Hulk, like tear it up. See? Oh. All right.
Yeah. That's the future number one right there.
Give her that mommy milk. She'll be happy. So I think, we just had some messages come in. Yeah, so we got, Benji, of course, is in the chat. We got Javier Martinez in the chat saying H. I don't know what that is. Maybe hi. Let's see. And we've got Derek. Derek Smith is in the house. Says, damn, those are a couple good-looking, strong-ass dudes right there. Thanks, Derek.
Oh, yeah. Baby, a jersey. That's awesome.
And she would never flop Benji. Too tough for that. I love it. Yeah, she's got that hand strength, man. Everyone's going to be trying to slip to the straps with her, but it's not going to get better, I promise. If you try and go to the straps with that, it's still game over.
That's awesome. How much what was her weight and stuff like when she was born?
she was Javier says I had no idea I typed H. So she was 7.7 ounces when she was born, and she was what did I say? All right, 7 pounds, 7 ounces. She was like pretty long. She was 21 inches and 20 and a quarter. But then the next day when we measured her, she was shorter. But it's because when she was born, she had that like cone head you get when you have like a natural birth, and then it started like shaping up. We had a little bit of trouble the first week. We had to stay in the hospital a bit. She was losing weight a little bit. Malia had a really long pregnancy. It was 20 hours with a lot going on there. Derek says the real question: sideways like mama or outside like dad? I don't know, man. I think she's gonna be the whole package. She's gonna be the whole storm coming at you. She's gonna take your hand and go sideways. You know.
Benji's asking her name again.
Odette. It's. I mean, she's gonna have to learn how to spell really really fast because her name is like gnarly. Like we even had to like misspelled it when we were trying to like tell the receptionist at the hospital. So it's Odette Genevieve Fontecchio. So I'm pretty sure like all of the letters in the alphabet are there somewhere. But we're trying to like make songs to help her learn it when she gets there. Odette's an easy one. Odette. That's it. But yeah, so I don't know, man. Just that whole experience. I know you've got kids. Yeah, Derek, Odette, and that's how it's spelled. I know you got kids, and for me being my first, like that was just an unbelievable experience, and by far, like getting to be there supporting Malia through the process. Um, I've never seen anybody exude as much strength as her. It was insane, like watching what she went through. She, went without the epidural through the majority of, a good amount of the process. But I just remember, like, when it was go time at home, we live up in the mountains, right? And we have a tiny hospital up here that's for like other stuff. They won't deliver babies. So we have to go down the mountain, a 45-minute drive to the nearest hospital that does. And we had our go bags packed. I had all this preparation, and I would have all these gnarly thoughts of like how it is in the movies and stuff like that, like when it's go time and like everyone's freaking out and the wife's like going nuts and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just Malia comes downstairs and she's like, I think it's time, we're ready to go. She was having the contractions in the right time period, length and all that kind of stuff. And like, my hair was instantly on fire. I'm like, oh crap. And she's like, no, I'm going to take a shower real quick, and, we'll get ourselves settled and ready to go. And she takes a shower, and I'm like running around the house, like trying to like do things that don't need to be done. And finally we, get to the car. She's just, cool as a cucumber. We make the whole drive home. She's just quiet, just like breathing like nice and slow. And it got heavier, but like when we got there finally, it was like, I want to say like 10 p.m. And we had to sit through the waiting process, see the first nurse and everything, and then the midwife finally comes in around 11. She checks her and she says, okay, so now I need you to go out into the hallway, and I want you to walk for an hour and a half. I want you to go walking until 12:30, to help, I guess, physically put her in a position more to go through the process. Won't go into the details, but like that was nuts, dude. Like it was late, so the hallway was empty, but she would just like, we would be pacing back and forth in this hallway for an hour and a half while she's going through gnarly contractions. She'd make it 10 steps, and then the contraction would hit. She'd drop to the ground, but totally quiet, wouldn't make a peep, and yeah, and it went on like that for 20 hours. But Yeah, it was just amazing to watch that whole freaking process. But yeah, women are built different. They really are. I know we pride ourselves as men as in being tough and caretakers, you know, where we can, like in the ways that we can be, but you know, in the ways that a woman has strength, you know, it's just not something that I think we can fully understand.
Not at all. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I felt the same way after I watched my wife go through four of them. I mean, the first one obviously, changed everything, but yeah, I mean and you're right. I mean, the way that they endure it is so much more peaceful and relaxed and not stressed. And we're always, I think it's because we're an egotistical creature, males are. So we're way more into the pride and be like, oh yeah, everything's bothering me. And they're just like so thoughtful about everything that, they've already psyched themselves out to not trip out, and it's wild. I mean, they say it's like worse than a bullet,
Right.
the birth
Oh yeah.
process. Yeah. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, even when you do get shot in the stomach, so I've been told, it is the most painful thing you can experience, I guess, because of the nerve endings and stuff in there, and what they're experiencing is just bizarre. That's definitely what you were saying is something that I think is really interesting because I've had to experience that in my life, you know, between things like temperament, overreacting, and, you know, even pain, we react to it like differently. Um, and that, you know, how they say women are more mature than men, they mature faster. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but as I've been getting older, I've learned that, you know, like having some kind of temper or reacting to something and like, you know, getting into fights easy or something like makes you tough or whatever, but it's not true. You know,
right.
the truth is, I think strength is exuded by patience, restraint, um, and you know, just the ability to be composed when you need to. You know, it's
Mhm.
when you need, you know, but yeah, it's that's been a long lesson, but women seem to kind of figure that out pretty quick.
Hey, there was a reason why in a lot of old tribes the women were the hunters and the men were called the medicine men. They stayed home and raised the children. There was a reason for that. All their premonitions and their natural instincts makes them literally better suited for hunting and combat and things like that because they have those natural maternal instincts, whereas we have a territorial instinct where we're protective over our materials, over what's ours, right?
Mm, yeah, absolutely. That's a very interesting perspective. I like that. We had a few chats just come through here, catch up a little bit, and we'll get into the arm wrestling nitty gritty. Let's see. We had gosh, it just like disappears on me so quick having to like
It was
just
Don Mormon was the newest one that, or the first of the new ones that came in. He says, "What's up to everybody?"
hey, what's up, Don?
Then Benji says, "Hey Don, that's the peg snapper. You're breaking my team's tables."
Yeah. Where's Don? Oh, there he is. Okay, right on.
Passing Don, yeah.
Yeah. And what was it? Let's see. Yeah, Javier just said, were you the supportive, all up in the mix father, or were you hiding in the corner like me? He says he was literally trying not to pass out. Dude, I get it. That makes sense. Um, no, I mean I was there bedside with her. The nurses and midwife got me all up in it. But you know, after that many hours, you know, I was all the way in, like invested. You know, you just want the pain to stop. By the time they had to do a lot of moving of Odette, a lot, which meant a lot of moving of Malia to get her to shift. Odette wasn't in the perfect position. She's very stubborn. Um, and by the time she was close enough, they said, "All right, we're just gonna do this." She wasn't in the perfect position, but they said, "Oh, we're gonna go for it." And the pushing process was only 30 minutes for Malia, but it was kind of fun. Like they, like being there that long with the nurses and the midwives and stuff like that. They learned everything about us. We're arm wrestlers and stuff like that, and they loved that. And so during the pushing process, I had to hold Malia's back and help her get into like a sit up every time. They'd make her like um, as soon as the contractions peaked, they made her like take a breath and then push whatever. And I had to squeeze her into a sit up and like help her be in like a tight position. And so every time it was like coaching her in an arm wrestling match because I was like, "Come on, baby, get tight, stay tight, stay tight, stay tight. Use your core, use your core." And she's,
Yeah. That's
but
awesome.
yeah, and then when it happened, it was absolutely unreal. No, I mean otherworldly. Just I can't put it into words. But all the mothers and fathers out there, I know they get it. But
Yeah. So we got Eric has joined the chat. Eric Gonzalez. He says, "What's up, Benji?" And Paul Stevens in the chat saying, "What's up, guys?"
what's up, Eric?
That brings me back to one of Benji's comments. He's wondering if everybody's going to the Kraken.
Yep.
Paul has that match, the rematch with Brandon Allen at the Kraken. That's going to be super exciting. Super exciting. Who you got in that match, Kane?
Brandon versus Paul. Well,
Yeah.
I'm definitely backing my boy Paul for sure. Um, who's gonna win in that match? I don't know. Paul's been looking good, and style wise, it's hard to say. I feel like sometimes they both have a good lock out here. I think Paul's gonna win the hand game. The biggest question is going to be if Paul, to me, if Paul can stay in there with access to his larger muscle groups and everything. I feel like Brandon, as soon as he loses his hand or the any position of center table control, he's going to end up out in that King's move. But he's pretty good there. He's got a good long lock there. So yeah, if Paul just expects it, stays composed, and gets him out of his shoulder, I think it can be Paul's win, all the way through. What do you think?
Yeah. I had Paul winning it when they first met up at the LA Fit Expo. That was, for a little context, Brandon had, changed his lifestyle around at that time, lost, quite a bit of weight, wasn't feeling at his peak. Paul knew that. Everybody kind of knew that. But Paul was very dominant in that match. I think that I always am the one who is going to rely more on technique and experience. And Brandon, obviously, he's one of the strongest guys, in North America as far as strength. But I think that Paul is strong in the right spots, and I think he knows what to do. I think he knows what he's going to need to do. I'm definitely going for Paul. If it's best of 5, I think it's a 3-1 win.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good prediction. Who do you think takes round 1?
I think that's where, if Brandon's going to win anything, it's going to be round 1.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're behind you, Paul. What else we got going on in the chat? Well, I guess referring back to Benji's question, are you going to be going to the Kraken?
Yeah, I think I am. So this weekend we have the call out matches that we're doing at Mike McGraw's. And then the Kraken, I believe, is the very next weekend. I spoke to Casey the other day, and he said that he was down to go down there with me. So Casey and I will be down there.
Awesome. Yeah, it'll be good to see you guys. Can you remind me the date on that one?
The 23rd, I believe. I believe it's exactly a week. I believe it's the 23rd of this month.
And that's always on a Saturday, I think.
Wait. Whoa. What?
You double checking the date?
What is No, I think the date's the 23rd. I'm just looking at Benji is saying that Brandon Allen
290
has a
pounds?
tournament.
No.
No, he says he has a tournament in Victorville, October 14th.
Oh, that's my
Huh.
day. Huh.
Costume contest, UAL, Bill Collins refs. Huh. Okay.
But I mean, that's what, 3 weeks apart. You know, I guess Brandon must be pretty confident then if he's gonna go hit a tournament. But hey, I mean, more power to Brandon because, I mean, to me, he's newer in the game. You know, anybody I feel like that's under 4 or 5 years in the sport, you know, just compete as much as you can because it all pans out to experience. The thing that I was a little bit questioned about, I think it was Paul that said
It's the 30th.
Oh, good. Perfect. Okay, so was it Paul that said he's 290 pounds somewhere? Where the heck did I see it?
Somebody said that. Somebody said he looks. Paul says Brandon is about 290. LOL. That's Javier before that had said that Brandon looks about 40 pounds heavier than their first match.
Okay, right. Okay. Yeah, I must have not seen him recently because the last time I saw Brandon, he literally looked like he wasn't even 200, but I don't know, he could have just been down in that area. I'm horrible at guessing weight, but he looked way lighter than he normally.
Oh, he looks small, man. Like I honestly, I had only seen him big, right? So not seeing him and then seeing him that small, I was like, wow, like he looked like a whole different person. I mean, he didn't look like no heavyweight.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, Paul, is there a weight cap for that match? And where are you sitting, Paul, in your weight? Until you get back to us on that, I got Malia right here. I think it'd be awesome if we can come. So Paul says, yeah, Brandon said he's 290 pounds. Holy crap. Okay. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just 'cause we're
Benji's
used to seeing him at like 350 or something like that. I don't know.
Benji says Brandon is feeling stronger. He just pulled him. He is actually in Vegas right now visiting. So we know who Benji is rooting for. All right, Benji. Yeah, and then 30th, the Kraken. And Paul confirmed. Yeah, okay. 290, that's not a bad weight. He must have put on quite a bit then.
Yeah, babe, if we go, we can go visit your family. It could be a good opportunity to take the 30th of this month. So we could take Odette to meet Grandma and Grandpa and get a little tournament in. Oh, it's been so long. Bro, I don't think I've competed in a tournament since might have been last year. I've done super matches, but I don't think I've competed. This is, yeah, I can't wait.
No, you haven't pulled a tournament this year, have you?
Well, Bakersfield was a super match series. Yeah.
Did you pull LA? The Fit Expo?
I did not.
No.
Yeah. The whole pregnancy has kind of, taken front seat for a while, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was tournaments I could have done around Bakersfield. I love super matches, so I guess focus more on those. But yeah, I can't wait to do another tournament, see where everyone's at, because we've got a lot of new pullers out here, a big crop in every weight category. So it'll be fun to see who shows up and how things pan out.
Yeah, heck yeah.
What other super matches are going down at the Kraken?
That's a good question. I know that Casey was offered one, but then that fell through. So I think Russ might be having a match there because he was the one who asked Casey for a match. I'm not sure exactly, honestly.
Okay.
I've only seen. I know that they promoted it prior, but I'd only seen Brandon and Paul be promoted recently.
Okay. Yeah, Paul says he's sitting at 230, and there is no weight cap for either him or Brandon. He says he doesn't care. He wants there to just be no excuses when he kicks Brandon's ass.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Russell Stark versus Jake Collins. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, Russell Stark is a beast, but I don't, I've seen Jake Collins around. I think in our chat, I've seen him around on social media. Do you know anything about him?
Yeah, of course. He's Jake is from the Bay Area arm wrestling squad with Matt Silva and them up there. He's a big boy. I want to say he's right around like 6'2" or 3. Could even be a little bit taller. He's right around the 230 range, 240. Super strong, really good hand. He pulled up in the tournaments up here in Sonora, pulled the super heavyweights and did really well in there, as well as doing his own class that he did. But yeah, he's definitely an up and comer. He's as far as that level. He's an up and comer who's going to be a force to be reckoned with. He's only been in the sport for a couple of years.
Okay.
But and when I'll be honest, like I think Jake's an awesome dude. When I first seen the match promoted, I was like, oh, Russell, he's known for like his crazy hand. I mean, even Dallas said out of his own mouth that he has to go to the strap with him. He can't mess with them outside the strap. Russell's no joke. When Russell's serious, like but Jake's a big, strong dude. I mean, he definitely has size on Russell for sure.
Well, it's matches like this that makes the sport go round. You've got somebody that's earned their stripes in the sport. He's very good. He's competitive. People know who Russell is, and he's I really respect that about him, that he's accepting a match with an up and comer who's been in the sport only a couple years or so. And then we kind of get to see where Jake is at. So yeah, I love that stuff.
It looks like Jake is also, and that's right, I've seen it. So he is going against Russell right-handed, and Paul says that he is also going against Ronnie Vega left-handed. So he has his day is set up for him for sure.
He's hungry. I love it. All right. So with Russell, it's right. With Ronnie, it's left. Is that what he was saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We had an interesting chat from Javier as well. Javier Martinez wants Casey. He wants Casey Stevens. He said Javier will be cleared to pull in the next 2 weeks. What does that mean, Javier? So have you been injured? And if you're just being cleared, like, how's that prep time looking for Casey?
Javier, they just pulled in Anaheim.
Yeah.
They just pulled.
Yeah.
They just pulled. I got somebody else for Javier. I got somebody great match for him, a perfect match for him. Matt Silva.
Oh, yeah.
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 Javier.
How long has Matt been?
A couple years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a couple years, few years. I mean, I heard a bunch of different stuff like before I knew Matt. It was like, oh, he's been in the sport 10 years, this and that. I think he's been a fan of the sport for a long time, but he's only been like trying to pull for a couple of years. That's what I've gathered from it. But Matt's a great dude, super friendly to everybody. Holds a nice practice over at his house, always feeding everybody when they come, making sure there's drinks and food, and he just wants people to get together. He's another one of those. He doesn't really care how many medals he has. He likes the community. He likes the group.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that match. I know where Javier's at, and he's been doing really good.
Yeah, he's strong. He's strong.
He is very, very strong. I'm not going to talk about it here, but Javier knows there's something that we've been working on together, and he has a secret weapon that people do not know about. He just needs to work on it a little bit more, and it's a very unexpected weapon. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Javier's path. Yeah, speaking of which, well, yeah, let's talk, Javier. I want to get to practice next time you are there. Let's get some pulling in. And we got Paul Stevens says Russell and Jake right hand. Yeah, Ronnie and Jake are lefty. And Eric says Russell is a cool dude. He is a cool dude. Benji says will be fun times at Kraken and Brandon Allen arm fights. So maybe I do want to talk about some of the matches you guys set up for this weekend over at Mike McGraw's. But first, can we back up just a little bit to the last SoCal Arm Fest? There were some matches that went down there, and you actually had a match. Yeah.
Cool. No.
You don't want to talk about it?
Of course I do.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't have a match though. I was sacrificed. Listen to this. Listen to this. I was sacrificed to a Christian. No, it was a great time. Yeah, all the matches were fun. All the matches were fun. I had a match with Christian Cabahug. It definitely was. It was one of those more humbling moments. I mean, his strength was, ridiculous. I don't think I've arm wrestled anybody recently with that much side pressure. It wasn't the back, it wasn't the hand, it was just the straight side pressure. Like, it was crazy.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. But and he even there was one match where I came forward and he even let me. Well, I'm not going to say it felt like he was letting me get into my zone, right? And then he was able to just side pressure right through it without any cupping, without any supination, without any pronation, just flat hand push right through. It was intense. But like I told him, it was an honor to even be on the table with him, and when he asked me if I would do the match with him, I would, yeah. I'll never say no. But yeah, I got whooped. Well,
I mean, it was a cool match, and it was cool that you took on that challenge, because he's for sure a challenge. And that side pressure, man, it's definitely a weapon. It's not an easy one to get around. There was one round, I don't think it was that one where you dove forward. I feel like maybe you went back and you got the wrist for a minute there. Did you guys slip and go to the straps there? Is that what happened?
No. I was that's another thing, right? Is that like my lat drag and everything in the strap is like, I don't know. I can access like a ton more strength for some reason, but his grip was so tight that I didn't feel comfortable enough to try to slip and not compromise so much position, like by trying to slip and just being under. So I just committed every time. I didn't even try to slip, and we never got to the straps. But in round 2, it was just like a perfectly timed top roll hit, and I caught him off guard and took him like all the way to the pad, but my elbow jumped off,
right. Okay.
At the end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and in that particular one, when he was loading and squeezing a lot, were you not loading back? Were you trying to kind of dictate the match, have a little bit of a, or you know, flipper
Well,
hand?
see, I'm always pretty. I'm always pretty fair, like in the setup. Not to say that he wasn't fair, but I'm always like pretty comfortable and calm because I'm going like for my move anyway. I'm not going worried about your move. So like regardless, I want to make sure that I'm as comfortable as possible, and the whole squeezing up and doing all that, the back and forth doesn't benefit me much. It doesn't seem like yet. But yeah, when I felt like his super squeeze and the loading and all that, I was kind of just trying to let my hand float around his.
Right, good, yeah.
But he was still clamped on the thumb and everything so hard that it was like, yeah, what's going to happen is I'm going to try to yank and be under him. Like that's just my mind, what my mind told me, and who knows. But yeah, I even told who was reffing. Crispin. I even told Crispin, I was like, dude, I can't even slip. I don't think I can slip. Like I told him that, while we're at the table. So yeah, it was cool. But that round two, it seemed like I did something right because you could see the shock on Christian's face. He told me, he was like, whoa, man, good shit. And you could hear like several people in the crowd like, oh. So
there was something there for sure.
There was something there. It's all so I'm not sure if you noticed, but like while I was pulling that match, I was trying to play a chess game, and that's why I think I was able to catch him off guard round two, because round one I specifically purposely wanted to pull slow, that way he didn't expect any speed after that, and I think that worked in my favor. But every single start I tried something completely different, and I wanted to do that, but I just wanted to like go every single avenue and see what was where. So like at the end of the day, the result, in my opinion, is I need to attack his hand and come away and outside. That was the best lane, and yeah, I would practice on that and try to come at him that way. But I was more, it was more of like one of those things where not defeated before you went, but enough respect where I knew you might as well try everything because this dude's above your level. Like that's the way I look at it, right? So,
well, cool, man. And what else did we have for
Casey went against Heraclio,
yeah.
Which was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. It was left-handed, and it looked like outside of the straps, like Casey had. Well, I mean, he did. He had the hand advantage. The first match, they went to the straps. Heraclio was able to just pull right through. Casey made an adjustment round two, and then Casey was getting the hit, taking him all the way to the spot. We talked about this before the match. Spot is and how 6 inches from the pad, and it stayed there, and Heraclio did his magic, and he won the match. He won 3-0, even though there was some lanes there. There was the same thing. There was it's just a matter of time, like a couple of tweaks. But same thing, Casey had a lot of people really surprised with his performance, and even Alan Fisher was telling him that it was really impressive that he even did what he did with Heraclio. So yeah, and then you had Hadzi and Tony and them. They thought that Heraclio would just flash Casey no problem each time, and so the fact that Casey was in the match, they were all pleasantly surprised about that. So super cool.
Yeah, Heraclio's my boy, and he's a very, very strong puller, very talented. I've been watching Casey's matches. I feel like ever since he started, and he travels a lot in the state, so I've seen him pull a lot, And his last post that he posted, maybe on Facebook or something, really impressed me and excited me to see what he took away from that match. You know, I'm assuming it was from that match. But guys like Casey, you know, who typically have the dominant hand, and you come into the sport that way. He came into the sport strong. He came into the sport dominating a lot of amateurs with that hand, you know. And sometimes it's just a recipe for disaster because you can really, you know, depend on it, and you're always pulling out here a lot and not accessing. Like, he probably has so much more that he can access, but almost every match he's just, you know, he's used to being able to use his hand. So kind of jumping up to that next level and everything is really smart of him and perceptive, I feel like, to come to that conclusion that, okay, you know, I've got this, that's great, now let's shore up everything else, you know, stay tight,
Right.
yada yada yada. And just that he's made that decision is phenomenal. So I'm really looking forward to where that training and thought process leads, because he's going to be a storm, you know, to deal with when those other things come together too. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny too, because Casey loves the straps, right? And I always be like talking smack to him. I'm like, dude, you are taking away that crazy weapon that you walk up to the table with when you run to slip to the straps. Like,
Yeah.
you are just giving them so much, because outside of the straps, if you, I mean, even, you know, some of the bigger names, if you watch outside of the straps, people have trouble twisting his hand, you know, bending his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get in the straps, if a guy's stronger than you and he knows how to access those things, you're letting him tie to you. There's also that flip side of the coin, you know. So yeah, I've you know, told him that plenty of times, and I always get on him about it. I'm like, dude, don't give them a chance. Like, just stay outside the straps and hold them with your big old hand and make them struggle. And I just, all it is a couple of, like you just said, shoring up a couple things, tightening up foot movement, standing the right way, moving the right way, staying tight, not separating away from his arm. I mean, when you're that size, I mean, if you get on top of anybody, it's going to have a problem, right? But if you're stretching out and running away, again, we're not using everything. So once he starts to use everything, people are going to, you know, they'll notice that he's there for sure, if they haven't already, you know. But yeah, I agree. It's exciting to see him thinking that way, and I can't wait to see what happens, for sure.
Right. Yeah, there's a very specific belief, and I don't know, just a conclusion that I came to at some point. I don't know if it's subconscious for some people. It definitely was with me. But when you have an asset coming into the sport, whatever that asset may be, it almost might subconsciously feel like, to work on other things, you're deviating from that asset. You're not strengthening maybe your strength or whatever. But I personally have come to the conclusion that those things, if you came into that naturally, you know, if day one you had this particular asset, it might be speed, it might be hand, maybe you've got a crazy lat, I don't know what it is. But those things, I feel like they're not going to go away just because, like, say, pulling in a hook nice and tight is not your strong suit. You know, work on that like 80% of the time in practice, minimum, for a year. All those other things are not going anywhere. They're not. The only thing that made me, you know, question some of it, like, I personally made that conclusion with needing to work on the hook a lot more, and also the confidence to initiate one. But I did notice, like, in this last year, the super matches and stuff that I've done, there's certain assets that I do have that, because I worked on that so much, I lost a little bit of, I don't know, maybe like the muscle memory to utilize them sometimes, because I think I evaded, you know, or spent a little too much time, like going to practices and spending 100% of the time in the hook. But I do feel like maybe like if you've got that hit, or like Casey, you've got a really good hand, maybe make sure you just go over articulation of whatever your normal move is. But that's just me. That's been my personal experience. But
Yeah, no, I mean it makes complete sense. I mean, uh, you everything we can do with our own genetic build and frame that we have. There's only so far that we can go until we're maxed out, right? And so, like you're saying, if you do have a gift or whatever might be your strong suit, um, you don't want to only focus on that, because then that reaches a level and then it just stops and then nothing else. I mean, and plus, your hook is going to get stronger if you top roll. Your top roll is going to get stronger when you hook.
yeah.
Um, all of those things tie in together. So, yeah, I agree with that.
That's the biggest difference I've noticed between amateur and not just between amateur and open class, but the upper levels of the open class. It's a broad spectrum when you start pulling open, and the guys that you might be wanting to chase in the open class, it don't matter if you've got a phenomenal this or that. Like you've the ones that are killing it out there, they usually have it all, or at least know how to use what they have in competition really well. But yeah, it's crazy. So there was also Joey versus somebody. What's his
Joey
name?
versus Quinn.
Quinn. Right. Yeah. And it was Joey that came out on top with that one, right? Or no?
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure it was.
so.
I'd have to rewatch it.
I know that they both were winning matches. I mean, I was
Benji
watching it
says
and it was
Quinn.
going back and forth.
Benji says Quinn. Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
think Quinn's a little bit bigger, but he said okay. Joey almost had it. Maybe I didn't see the full match. Um, and Derek Trung versus who's that guy? J squared or something like that. I don't know what his name is, but yeah, I love watching my boy Derek Trung pull. He's just so tiny but so powerful. You know who I'm talking about?
The Derek, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. That was my favorite match of the day.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because the long haired kid, um, the long haired guy. Sorry, I don't. I mean, they called him like J squared or something. I didn't catch his name, but like they had him something like that. Anyways, he looked pretty, you know, stronger at first, like it was going to go his way pretty easily. And Derek, like, he dove in there. He got a spot. He got a stop. And slowly but surely, you just seen the bigger. And the kid was, I mean, the other guy was quite a bit bigger than Derek. I mean,
Yeah.
he was quite a bit bigger.
Almost everyone
But
is quite a bit
he
bigger.
just started pounding on it, pounding on it, pounding on it, and slowly but surely it was coming back to center, and it was Derek's game from there. The guy never won another match, so I think that was like a 3-1 victory.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. I absolutely love Derek to death. And when we get new pullers, especially if they're not too big, I love sending them to Derek. And he's one of those guys where, like, for us on our team, he's new because he's new with our team. But we had him on the show. He was the one who started his arm wrestling at high school, which
At the
was
high school.
super cool. So he had been doing it for 4 years in their tight knit, team and everything. But yeah, like the dude just has such good form, and I love that about smaller arm wrestlers, women too. Malia, my wife, she's phenomenal about it. I love sending new people to her too. They just know how to use what they got. Like
Hey,
honestly, this is kind of funny, but if Derek Trung worked with Casey, I know Casey would laugh at me hearing this, but all of those things he mentioned that he wants to work on, that's where Derek lives. He's just so good at getting in there and getting that position.
hey,
Right.
I say this all the time, and I definitely tell Casey this. Just because you can pin a guy does not mean that you are better than him or that you know more about the sport than him. There's plenty of people that pin people all the time, and the person that you pin knows way more about the sport than you do, right? So we gotta always think about that.
Very good point.
We gotta always think about that. I mean, how just imagine for just food for thought. Like you pull Alan Fisher tomorrow, you beat him, and then you're telling Alan Fisher how to arm wrestle. You know what I mean? Or you're not listening to him now because you beat him, and you're like, oh, I'm above his level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of that is funnier, me beating him or telling him how to arm wrestle, but
Both
yeah,
of them.
I get
Both
what you
of
mean.
them.
Yeah.
But no, Derek, you're exactly right. I mean, he looked super professional up there, like super professional. And when you were saying that, I was going to say, if you look at every sport where there's combat involved, boxing, the littler guys are way more technical.
Oh, yeah.
UFC, the littler guys are way more technical. It's like that across the board. The littler guys are more flexible, they're more technical, they are better at the craft. The bigger guys, just like you were kind of alluding to earlier, they are kind of cursed with the fact that they rely on size and strength more, and usually the littler guys have to work 10 times harder, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Yep. Okay. Now, so this weekend we've got a bunch of matches lined up at Mike McGraw's, right?
Yeah, there's right. Then there's, I think we're gonna have like 20 matches. Well, okay, let me be clear. It's gonna be like 40 matches because they're all right and left hand, right? So yeah, a minimum of 30, a maximum of 40. It's gonna be either 15 or 20 matches, but both of them are left and right. So at the end of the day, you'll see 15 right-handed super matches and 15 left-handed super matches.
That is going to be a good time.
Or challenge matches. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And the only reason we're even all trying to do this is because of how much, like I told you, how much the OGs loved it last year. They loved the vibe of it and everything. And that's anytime I can try to be a part of spreading that or growing that, I'm going to. And me and Mike talked. I was like, hey, you want to do one of those, challenge match days again, big old potluck? And he was like, oh yeah, man, for sure. So that's all it took, and I love seeing the older generation who have made this sport for us. I love seeing them happy. So like watching them get all jazzed about stuff like this, that's what it's all about. We're going there to basically give all the OGs like a really exciting time while we could all chill out and have some matches.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we got Benny Ringer in the house, and we got so Riv Slug is River Welch. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
We got him on the show. Yeah, River's looking forward to it, and Benny says that's a lot of matches. I'd say it's just the right amount of match. No, maybe more. Super matches all day, baby. Yeah, man, I wish I was there. It sounds so cool. And yeah, Benny wants to call me out. He says he calls me out.
What? Oh, okay. He put LOL after that. Okay, he put LOL. Dang, Benny.
What is he weighing now?
Benny's like right around. He's in between 183 and 189. So, yeah, He's right around there. He's been pulling that 185 class. So.
Does he have a match for this?
Yeah, he does. He's going against a guy named Leo. You might remember Leo. You set up his match with Ed at North versus South with Ed Bedrosian.
Oh, right. Okay. And I want to say, how did that one go down?
He's an arm bender. Leo won.
Okay.
Leo won. It was close.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they were pretty closely matched.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they were a good match because Leo's got a pretty long arm. He's a taller, big dude, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so was Benny. That'll be a good one. Yeah, Benny's got a extremely long arm. It's built really well for the sport, and he uses it well. And it seems like since the last time, the only time I practice pulled with him was at North for South, I want to say. But it looks like he's been making some massive improvements.
Oh yeah. The Benny at North versus South couldn't hold a candle to the Benny who's arm wrestling right now. What it is, he takes it so serious, and
Yeah.
he's he's an intellectual person, period. So anything that he's interested in, he's going to break it down and learn like all the facets. And now he's hitting the gym a couple times a week as well, on top of consistent practice. So he's doing it. And Benny's his hand strength, like those things that people squeeze and it shows the pounds. Well, like everywhere we went, like Benny can out squeeze anybody, like all the super heavyweights, his hand strength is like incredible. Like his name is on, he's one of the people that closed like the Captain of Crush, a couple years ago, the number 2 or 3, whatever it was. He closed a few years ago when there was only like 100 people to do it, and he was one of them. Like his hand grip strength is ridiculous, like ridiculous.
Benny, was that a 3.5? Let us know. And what does he do for work? Where's all this hand strength coming from?
Well, he's he's been like a mechanic his whole life. Right now he works for like a chemical company, but before, like growing up, I mean, he built his own hot rods and stuff like that, doing all the wrenching on the engines. He's just strong hands, just strong guy. His dad is the same way.
Mechanics have really strong hands. And he just said it was a 3 that he closed, which is a lot for a 185 guy. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think Derek, on some days closes a 3.5. Derek Smith. So that's very, very impressive. Yeah.
So wait, is the higher the number goes, the harder it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like world class, from what I understand, is 4.0. But there's also technique to it. I had one buddy come up with some Captains of Crush, and he was kind of showing me. And yeah, like at first, I work with my hands too, and I think at first when I was trying to understand how to close it, like even like a 2.5 or a 2 or something like that was a little bit awkward for me, and I wasn't understanding it, and he showed me how to like hold it properly, and it helps. But yeah, dude, if no matter what, if you're closing a 3, that's pretty gnarly. Yeah, because I don't think anybody has closed past before. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Who's this? That's what I'm asking. Benny Pitt. All right. I love how they're talking to each other in the chat too. That's like super cool. We got 8 people in the chat with only 3 likes. I learned this from Derek. Why don't you guys press that like button on your way in? Thank you, Derek.
Okay, and so I did talk to Bridget Lindsay Morris, and she's down to come on with us this Friday. So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, her and E.T. the Whisperer are going to be heading to Florida this weekend, and she said that by that time, by Friday, they'll be in Texas, but they're still going to make the time to get her on with us. So yeah, Bridge is just an awesome individual, awesome arm wrestler. So I'm excited to have her on, and we'll get Blanca back on here, and should have the Mac Wednesday night. We'll get all that set up and be back to our normal business.
Awesome. Heck yeah, man.
I really liked your idea, and we're gonna have to set this up. But for the couples show, we got to do the couples of arm wrestling.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good one. I think it would be a really good one. You got, I mean, we could just keep going through the names, right? But you got you and Malia, you got Nancy and Eric, you got Bridget and ET, you got, I mean, Paul Stevens and Erica, you
Yep.
got Blanca and Ronnie. I mean, the list just goes on.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
yeah, I think it would be a really cool, a fun vibe show. You know, to have the counterparts on there with them, and then that would be a really cool time to really play like a fun trivia game. You know, with the couples, kind of like the newlywed game, but
yeah, we got to get the Latonas on here too. That'd be a
exactly.
good time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have Megan Blake and her and Casey Allen. I believe are an item, and so that would be cool to have them as well. Casey has a pretty good following in arm wrestling across the Midwest.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. We definitely got to do that. I think that would be entertaining and a good time. I like the idea of a couples game too. So I think we had some chat come in, but I also forgot to mention, yeah, when we were talking to Javier Martinez about where he's at, and he's going to be released to pull pretty soon. What was he said? He said it was like his lat. He pulled something in his lat.
Yeah.
4 months ago or something like that, and I think the way he put it is that yes, Anaheim won't happen again. So he's looking to come back pretty hard. We need to get him that match with Matt Silva for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be super cool. That's a great match for North versus South too.
I like it. And one other name I want to put out there. We all know Elijah Calazo, Todd's son, and Todd's been on here. We love having him on. So Todd started pulling. He's been pulling with us at practice, and yeah, Elijah's dad. He's very talented. He's very strong. Yeah, I'm really psyched about that little relationship between the two of them pulling together. They train hard, dude. Like it's super inspirational. Like, and the way he pushes and coaches Elijah, watching all his lifts and everything like that, very, very inspirational. We've got Benny saying Leo is a strong guy though. His hand is huge, so if the setup goes my way, I think I got him. But if he doesn't let me get it, I'm not too sure.
So now you're looking for handouts, Benny?
I
Wrong
know,
sport,
what's going
buddy.
on there? Yeah, man.
You gotta take it. You gotta take it.
Don't worry about what he lets you have. Take what you need. Take what you want. So
if you want it, you gotta take it, Benny. The world meets nobody halfway. What's that from, King?
Just take him over the top, baby. Over the top.
That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's referring to, does Leo like to load and squeeze a lot, kind of like Christian?
He's Leo's a lot of pressure to the back of the index finger when setting up. So just like a really hard post and really high knuckles, and he's an arm bender. So you know how their crazy go is, and
So he
they're
likes
outside.
to he likes to control this part of your hand right here.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's very fast, and he's very efficient with his hit, with his ready go. Everything is, he's a couple years in the sport, but under Mike McGraw and all them guys, consistently. So he's learning from a good crop of dudes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that match. Yeah, that's definitely a good technique, control of that bone line right there.
Hmm.
There's ways around it for sure, though, Benny. Um, yeah, if you can get high, you can swoop on over that hand and control the match and dictate it. Absolutely. Well, is there anything else we want to cover? We've been on for about an hour.
No, I mean, I think we talked about it. We just kind of wanted to get back in here to let everybody know that we still love you, and we want to keep on providing, something fun for everybody to watch and informative. We wanted to get back in here and go over the last couple weeks. We did that. We went over the things that are coming up soon. We got Grinder. We got this week at Mike McGraw's. We got Brandon Allen's tournament in October. Exciting stuff. And yeah, we're going to get back to it, like Kane said, with the Female Friday this week, and get that ball rolling for everybody again. And all you guys who are supporting what Kane is doing. And I'm helping out, but this is, it's awesome that you guys support and watch and comment and get involved, and we just want to keep on being able to do this and get more of you guys involved.
Absolutely. Just real quick, we were talking the other day about some things going on in youth arm wrestling that you've been working on. Is that something we can talk about yet?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
please tell people about that. I think this is freaking cool.
yeah, so I am currently in the works of starting an arm wrestling program at my son's elementary school, and I'll be able to be a coach of sorts under a designated PE teacher that already works there, because you have to have credentials to work, directly as a teacher. But they are, over the last week, we've been going over stuff and doing stuff, and they are welcoming it right into his school. His school is a unique school. It's Pacific Union, and it's only one school for the district. So there's not like 10 different boards or people that we have to go to. We talk to everybody at that school. And like I was explaining to Kane, our neighbor is the principal of the school. So we're kind of blessed. And Evan has been he is so in love with this that every day, everywhere he's talking about it. And so that's really what started it, was Evan talking about wanting to bring it to his school. And so, yeah, so that's literally happening as we speak. And it's going to be it looks like it's going to be a permanent thing, at least for the rest of the school year.
Amazing.
You see how it goes. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. And that's
all I got to do now is find like good arm wrestlers that are near me that can actually teach these kids the right stuff.
No, I think
look, I can teach them how to stay safe in the basics, man, but
yeah.
I'm definitely going to need to have somebody that's with me with things like this that's way more experienced,
Right.
Down as the ball starts rolling more.
You'll be perfect, I feel like, to be the main help, to not only get them going with the fundamentals, but you break things down really well. I think you'd be really good with the kids. And it's a great opportunity once they've kind of had that foundation to bring in some interesting guest speakers, because you've got all kinds of heavy hitters up north there.
Right.
Bring around, you know. And it could be a good bridge to doing that camp that we were talking about, because then you can maybe have a foundation, you know, a school behind it, that might be of some assistance, and maybe even put it at a location that's a good halfway point between SoCal and NorCal, so we can get all the youth together in one camp.
That would be so amazing, honestly. And to have people like you involved and your wife, and then your people like the newer guys coming in like Todd. That dude is, I mean, he's so, you already know, like he's so passionate for the right things, and it's because he has a son and he cares about what his son is doing. So, you know, props to Elijah, like you're bringing us, you know, big help. But yeah, guys like Todd and stuff, I mean, those are the guys that you want to help this do things like those camps. I mean, he's been a baseball coach, like, you know, for a long time, and he said he did it professionally. So when you're that level of coaching, coaching is coaching is coaching is coaching. It's just, what is the product, right? It's no different than sales or anything else we're doing. So Todd, as he learns this sport and this niche, I'm sure that he will be a wonderful coach.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah. He's going to add a lot to the sport for sure. And I'm just envisioning this camp. Oh man, it would be so cool. Like, I don't know, like how many days it would need to be. It could be a week long or something, but you know, all kinds of fun activities or whatever, and just, you know, good times. But maybe a training process through the majority of the camp that all leads up to like a tournament or a super match series between all the kids.
That'd be so awesome,
Right?
bro. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, when we piggyback off of each other and feed the vibes, like that's how the most beautiful product or the finished result ends up. You know, just this, that, the other. I guess because you're thinking of it so deep, like that went straight over my head until you said it, and I was like, wow, like that's the only thing that makes sense. But I haven't even thought about that one time yet. I've just been thinking about how cool it is to even get to do this or to try to do this, and now you're like, it accumulates to that's awesome. That's awesome. Like it has to be that now, and there's no other way around it. It's literally it's the same thing as a jujitsu camp or a taekwondo camp, and they spar at the end and have their little tournament. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Nice big fat carrot at the end. It'd be really cool. And yeah, maybe at the
Yeah.
end having some heavy hitters that would be cool with coming out to like ref it. Maybe have like a fun what kind of match do they call those? Just a fun match, you know. It'd be really yeah, that would be great. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's all, you know. That's all we want to see, and all we're trying to do here. And if there was any message, so a lot of the new arm wrestlers that come into the sport, you know, you get the bug, you get that passion, and you want to be all up in the sport. You want to, you know, you look at the things that you don't like, and you want to speak out about it and everything like that. And the one thing that I know that we're both passionate about is I feel like we need to protect this sport, and also what all of our veterans and predecessors have put into this sport. You need to respect that. And if there's something that you want to see or change in the sport, just get out there and do it. You know, that's there's just a message to anybody out there that gets that bug and everything like that. You know, if you want to try something new, go do it. Um, and show love to all your veterans and your predecessors that helped build this sport for you. Don't show hate. Don't show a bunch of negativity or anything like that about things that you don't like, the financial aspects or whatever. Get out there and grind and make, you know, just do something different in a positive way if you can. And yeah, that's all I hope we can do.
Yeah, the respect thing is that's probably the biggest thing. Like I like that you said that. I like that you said that. That's huge. I think it's more common now with a lot of the YouTube, like the influx from. That's where some of the people are coming from, but um, yeah, I think it's easy for people to think that if they have an idea or something that it's better than these veterans who have put decades in the sport and sacrificed their life and limbs. Um, so yeah, the respecting is like the hugest thing. You'll this community is such a family and such a supportive community that as long as you do respect and be honest and things like that, you're gonna have everybody behind you. You know.
Right. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Well said. Yeah, that respect has to come first for sure. It's hard, dude. Like, that arm wrestling bug, it's kind of weird. I feel like almost every new arm wrestler has to go through like a weird phase, because you love it so much, but you don't understand it that much. You don't understand where it came from. You don't understand who's put in what with
Right.
the sport. You don't understand what's been done, what hasn't been done. And you just take a breath, appreciate that this sport that you've fallen in love with, and learn from the people that laid all this out and made all these great opportunities for you. And if you get the opportunity to take a ball and run with it, try something cool, which what you guys did with North versus South was just done perfectly. It had respect to the community. It was put out there to the community. You didn't step on toes. You didn't say what was wrong out there that you were trying to change anything. You just, came up with an idea, looked to your veterans and the community. How can we do this? And they all flocked to help you. Christian Zapata Compound Arm Wrestling Team, when they did their tournament, was also another shining example of that. They're a new team, and they were a lot newer when they threw that compound tournament, the Battle Royale tournament. But
That was awesome.
it was.
It was awesome. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, those guys showed absolute class and respect for the arm wrestling community, and got a lot of veterans involved to help. And man, just that little bit of fresh blood and juice and passion for the sport, it made it awesome.
It
So
did. Yeah, it was great. It was super good. The venue that they picked had so much space, but the way they set up the tables and everything, it was everybody was congested to where the viewing was happening. And to be honest, it was one of the most exciting like tournaments that I had been to. Like we're talking about with the super matches, how people get a little bit more excited. That tournament specifically, lots of people were like screaming and yelling, and like it was really lively. I loved it.
right.
Yeah, I hope they do it again, because if they do, I'm definitely I'll go to anything that Christian and them host for sure.
Yeah, love those guys to death. Well, all right. I think that's a good positive note to leave this on. Looking forward to
Wait.
what
One
about
last thing.
what's that?
Look up at the top of your screen. How many people? How many likes? We're
Oh, we got 5
100%.
people, 5 likes. We broke even.
100%. There it is. We're leaving on 100%.
100%. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, brother. So Friday we'll be rocking that female Friday with Bridget Lindsay Morris, and we're looking forward to getting back into the groove of things, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, man. You have a blessed night. It was great talking to you. Thank you, everybody. And yep, go do your daddy business. We'll talk soon, brother.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night.
You too.